Hi guys, how is it going? Today I just want to kind of hang out in the shop. I want to show you some projects that I've worked on in between projects, but that didn't quite make it into the videos. And then I asked you for some questions on Instagram and Twitter, and I got a whole bunch. So I want to do an FAQ segment as well. So lately I've been working a lot on the Makerspace series. I think I needed the weather to kind of clear up a little bit before I started on it. But now I'm moving along, which is really great. I'm about to glue up a bunch of big pieces for the counter, like these. But as I was working on this, I realized that I needed something to bring tools in and out of. So I built this simple toolbox. So this is Douglas fir. Like really simple construction, but like really useful. I've gotten so much use out of it already. And what I love when you make your own things is that you're not really afraid of like adjusting them if you need to make a change. So the other day I needed to fit a paint can in here and it didn't fit, so I cut off, made this a little rounder, which is kind of a better design anyway. Another thing I built is this case to hold this laptop slash tablet. It's a leather case. It holds the laptop inside, and it has like a fabric with a map on the inside. So I took an old book and I cut out the sides and I used the cardboard of the book, and then I glued nice leather to that. I'm not quite sure what I think about the strap system yet. I just really kind of needed something. Maybe I'll improve that a little bit, but it works. But this really makes me think about how I want to do more bookbinding, like how cool it is that there are so many public domain books that you could, bind into, a nice copy if you want. So the other thing I made were these chopsticks, and this is Bolivian rosewood. So the way I made this was that I cut thin strips of this on the bandsaw first, and then I used a spoke shave in here. So I put it in the vise, and then I just kind of formed these two. So ever since making these, like all my food choices have been based on like whether or not I can eat that food with chopsticks, because they're just like really nice and I love using them. So yeah, that was a little bit about some things that I have been making, but let's get into some questions. Is there something you want and you cannot get? Well, I guess like my biggest thing that I really want is more space. I mean, my shop is quite small, the house is very small. Like my dream in many ways is to get some land in the country and build my own shop and just have more space to work with, like more outdoor space, more shop space. So that is one of those things that one day that would be really, really nice. So how much time you take from the beginning of a project until the end of it? And what camera do you use to record? Okay, so first of all, I use a couple of Canon DSLRs to record. And in terms of how long it takes, I mean, that totally depends. Some projects I would say I work on for maybe 2 or 3 days. Whereas some projects, I mean, a couple of weeks maybe. Some things just take a long time. And then you have the editing on top of that, which takes 1 or 2 or sometimes 3 days. So. Have you ever used epoxy on domino double joints? No, I have not. How do you keep your shop clean? I mean, I do try to clean as I go. I hate having like a mess around, but also since the space is so small, I feel like a lot of what I'm doing is just moving one thing to another place to make room for another thing and then moving it back again. And yeah, that is driving me crazy. What happened to the podcast? Yes, the podcast. That is kind of like, it's a little bit tricky because in many ways I really did love the podcast, but in other ways I found it difficult to do, partly because it just took a lot of time to make and to edit, and there actually are a couple of episodes that we made, but that we never actually published because, yeah, some of them were a little bit weird. But I think it has something to do with the format, because we didn't want anything too formulaic, like what's on your bench today, because that's so many people are doing that and we wanted to do something different. But by not having a formula, it also kind of leaves you open to like anything, and I found that that format is kind of difficult in some ways as well. So I want to find a way to bring it back, but we'll see. Have you visited the Amazon? No, I have not, but I would love to. That would be fun. Do you speak Swedish at home? No, I do not. Sometimes me and Matt, we play around with Swedish words and sentences. And sometimes I do speak to Darwin. I believe he knows quite a bit of Swedish, but mostly no. Any meetups planned? Nothing definitive, but if there is an interest, I would love to do another one like I did like last year here in Corvallis, because it was so much fun to meet other people in the general area who were interested in the same things. So if anyone watching is interested in that, let me know in the comments. What do you think of young woodworkers, 11 to 12-year-olds watching your videos? I love that, because in many ways one of the things that I'm really trying to accomplish is to bring more younger people into the woodworking and the electronics and the making. So whenever I get a comment from a kid, or like a letter I get sometimes, which is so sweet, that just makes my day. That makes me super happy. So yeah, I love that. How did you start your own shop? It was difficult, money and stuff. Yeah, I built my own shop, and let's see, that was 5 years ago now, and the reason why that's so clear in my mind is because Darwin is going to be 5 this May, and he was a little puppy on the construction site here, and he was so cute. And building the shop was definitely one of my best experiences in my life, really, because I learned so much. It was like so much fun, and if you ever have the chance of doing something like that, like building your own structure or your own shop, you should definitely do it, because it's just amazing. The summer when this was built, it was one of those really hot Oregon summers. And for you guys who don't know Oregon, the winters here are pretty miserable, but the summers tend to be gorgeous, like no rain. Just dry and beautiful, and it was one of those summers. It was absolutely beautiful. So the tools were kind of left out, didn't have to clean up and everything. There was no rain, and I just kind of remember the heat and the building and the sun. It was just so nice. But okay, let's get back to practical because in terms of the size, this measures 12 by 16, which is 192 square feet, or about 17.8 square meters. And when building and planning for this, I did not use any reclaimed materials. I mean, that wasn't even really on my radar. I wasn't thinking about that. So I just ordered everything I needed. And of course you could save a lot more money if you were to, plan ahead and kind of scout for things. And if I ever did this again, I think I would do that. I would kind of plan ahead for a longer period of time. But I didn't. And the other thing that I did that kind of was a little bit expensive was that I chose nice fiberboard siding all around, because I wanted it to match my main house. So you could go a little cheaper there. But in total, this cost, the structure itself cost $6,000 in materials. And then the interior stuff to finish everything inside, and I wanted to make it nice. I wanted like sheetrock, I wanted a nice floor, I wanted exposed beams. I wanted to feel like a room, not like a shed or like a shop. I wanted to feel comfortable to spend time in. But yeah, the inside cost another $2,500 about. So total, the whole thing costs about $8,500 in material. And of course you save so much money if you don't hire the labor part, like building it yourself. And I had the help of my husband and my father-in-law to help me build it as well, which was really helpful. But yeah, you can do it pretty cheap in that sense if you do it yourself. I really like doing it yourself for the reason that you can choose whatever you want. I put like OSB on this whole wall behind the drywall, just so that I know I can nail in anywhere. Like I plan for that. And this knowing that you can plan out like what, the type of windows you want, or, the floor, or, where you want the outlets. I put a lot of outlets in here. There's a lot of outlets, but I used all of them. So just the fact that you know where everything is, that you know how it's made, that is very cool. Do you miss to live in Sweden and working with metric? Well, I wouldn't say that the metric part is what I miss the most. I just miss having family in Sweden and being so far away. I don't know, so often I wish there was an instantaneous travel device where I could just pop over there for a few hours and then come back to the shop and get back to work. That would be perfect. Someone should get right on that, I think. What was your most complicated project? Love your videos. Thank you. I don't know. I feel like a lot of the projects, they may look complicated from the outside, but then when you really get down to it, there are not really any particular complicated parts. There are just a lot of parts sometimes. Oftentimes it's just like getting something just right. I was just thinking about that because I've been working on the drawers and like drawer slides in general. And if you don't get something lined up just perfectly when you're adding drawer slides, then the drawer is not going to go in right. So if you mess that up, that's really annoying and that's kind of tricky. You may not realize it at first. But in terms of complicated, the tunable light here, the wiring for that was a little finicky. So yeah. What brought you to the US and to Oregon? I came here to study and to learn English better, and then I met Matt, and we left for a while, and then we ended up coming back, and now we live here. What are your plans for the year? Oh, I have a lot of plans for the year. First of all, like my main priority right now is to finish the makerspace. I have a couple of other videos coming first, kind of in between, but the makerspace is something I really want to finish because I'm really, really excited about that and kind of just getting that as a finished workspace. Then I also have a bunch of like outdoor projects planned for the summer. I want to make a new barbecue, I want to make some new outdoor seating, and also some stuff for my house. So what do you use to plan out your projects and keep your ideas, like a paper planner or a spreadsheet, etc.? Okay, so I actually make a new notebook each month, or a couple sometimes, and I put them in these leather covers that I made. And you may remember the videos I made videos for both of these. So I really like that I can make different notebooks for like one for sketches, one for ideas, one for like more of a schedule, one for like writing. Also, I have an article coming out in the next Make magazine where I go over making one of these Midori style notebooks. So yeah, check that out when it comes out. I think May, yeah. Where do you see yourself in the next 5 to 10 years? Okay, 5 to 10 years. It's kind of like a scary but a fun thought to think about. Because in many ways I want to continue what I'm doing now. I want to continue to make videos about these ideas and these concepts and these projects. But fundamentally I want to like bring more people into this world. I would love to become almost like a spokesperson for these concepts and like the making and the building and the electronics and all of that. I want to really show younger people how empowering and how cool it is to learn how to do these types of things, to have that kind of confidence. So I hope to reach more people. I hope to educate more people about these ideas. I would love to integrate more of the STEM concepts, more education in general, and I don't know, I just love this world, so I just want to kind of be in it, and I guess we'll see where the future leads. So yeah. Music or podcasts in the shop, what's your go-to? So I like to do both. It kind of depends on what mood I'm in. I like to listen to a lot of podcasts, and I do listen to music as well, so that's, yeah, either way. Another thing that's kind of new, you can see here, I got access to an old TV, and I thought, why not put that here? And it's been a great thing because it is there, I can now watch things from behind the bench. So that's been nice as well, watching more shows and movies, especially while doing like boring work, like gluing stuff up or things like that. So this video is brought to you by Azul, and they make these fanless mini PCs, which basically enable you to turn any TV into a computer. So I have their larger unit hooked up out here in the shop, and I have one of their mini sticks, this smaller one, hooked up on my TV and my home entertainment center inside. And I actually have this velcroed on the back of the TV in there, so you don't even know it's there, which is kind of cool. It enables you to, watch YouTube or stream Kodi or do emails or play games, like any light PC tasks. It does really, really well. And these units come with a licensed copy of Windows 10, and you can control them either by using this remote control or this keyboard. Because these units are fanless, I think, they're great for a home entertainment center, but they're also great for a shop situation, because since there is no fan, there's no dust entering into the system, and they're also really well sealed. So I just think it's kind of amazing that like this is a computer. It's so tiny. I've been getting a lot of use out of this, and I think it's pretty cool. So I'll put a link in the description to more information on the specs and where you can buy it and that sort of thing. Okay, well, I think that's about it. I want to thank my Patreon supporters for the support. I really appreciate it, and each week ish. I make a video where I go over a bit behind the scenes, like what I'm working on, what I'm thinking about, kind of like sometimes I show things that I may be very excited about but that don't actually work out or don't result in a video, and yeah, that kind of thing. So if you are interested in more of that kind of casual behind the scenes content, then check out my link in the description to be part of that club. So yeah. So anyway, let me know in the comments what you thought about this video. Did you like this format, this concept? I thought it was fun. So thanks for hanging out with me in the shop today otherwise, and I'll see you soon. Bye!